There you go. Happy birthday, Barry. Yeah, that's the world you created. Barry Soetoro. But, yeah, the continuity of the show is destroyed when two people have a purpose and we have only one keyboard. So no, I'm just thinking maybe.
I'm thinking you should be near the keyboard, and I'm thinking.
Yeah, I see. Normally, the thing is, I interact more with the keyboard than Sarah does, and yeah, I did find a small pic of his bus, but I'm not that into his bus, frankly. I mean, it's like, yeah, who cares, kind of thing. Obama's bus. Yeah. It's just not something I really care about. But I do care about a lot of other things besides his bus. I care about his dad, Martin Luther King. Yeah. Or his lovely wife, Michelle Obama. I also care about Janie Lane, a guy who died last week drinking vodka and pharmaceuticals at the same time. His dad was a communist. That's right, Beekman. Obama Sr. was a communist. I bite the bullet and vote for the extreme right wing. Why? Britain's hope. They're only going to support corporatism and the traditional view, which is not going to adapt to this changing economy, I assure you. Wallace has a blog Politico thing he's sending us to. $1 million price tag for Obama's new armored buses. That's right, $2.2 million for his Secret Service's new armored buses. Wow. How about that? So they're $2.2 million, these armored buses that he's driving around in. Good to know. Good to know, and I had no idea. Okay, I had that picture. It was available. But it's eluded me. It's in fun. Let's take a look here. No, I just can't find it now. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Well, I'll have to look at that later. It's just not here, the Obama's bus thing. And like I said, I really don't want to look at it. $2.2 million. That's crazy. Okay, Dave, I asked about gun control. Can I keep my musket to fend off British nationals? No. No, you can have an automatic weapon. Upgrade. Turn your musket in for an automatic weapon. That's right. Glenn's Room wants to interview me on his show someday. Yeah, I'd like to do that, Glenn. Yeah, sure. Why not? It could be a casual thing. Unless I go mainstream in the next 2 months, Glenn. If I get any kind of a national exposure in the next 2 months, I may have to not follow up on that interview.
And please, I know you love Janie Lane.
He just wants to tell me what. You don't care about Janie Lane?
No, I don't.
Well, you have never heard Janie Lane sing, obviously.
Then go play his music if you're going to.
I'll do that later. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, Britain's Hope says we are building 2 aircraft carriers and a giant catapult. Surrender your freedom, America. Well, isn't that nice? Why don't you waste your money on something else, Britain? That's funny. David, do you support animal testing? No, except little tiny mice. I believe laboratory animals should only be restricted to mice. No monkeys, no pigs, just little baby mice. We'll torture those. Don't quote me on that. 360 million lost to insurgents, criminals in Afghanistan. I know. Well, lots of money is being lost. You know, when we went into Iraq, $38 billion was lost on a rail car. I know mice are so cute, but we need something to test in laboratories, Sally. Golly gee. What do you recommend we test? You don't want to test human beings. After all, there's enough human guinea pigs out there. 1 grand is better than 1 million, thankfully, yes. Our car is not bulletproofed by any stretch of the means, and we didn't spend $2 million of your taxpayer dollars to drive around in that. Okay, let's test on illegals. Potty and B, that's terribly wrong. I mean, that's just they do that on veterans instead, and people in prisons. They don't test drugs on illegals. They use veterans and prisoners in America to test mind control drugs. The government does that. The CIA does that through the MK Ultra project. They admitted to that in the 1985 Senate subcommittee hearings. Senator Church, yeah, he actually studied that. But hey, let's not talk about the details of the dirty business that the CIA does. That's really not going to help us, is it? It's not bulletproof by your stretch of the imagination, Spy Shark. I actually put some gamma radiation protection. It's radiation proof, but I never expected to be going out into the... What do you mean mind control is impossible? They're doing it all the time. How do you think Jared Lee Loughner opened fire on Gabriella Giffords in the middle of Flagstaff a few months back? Yeah, that was mind control. Somebody grabbed Jared Lee Loughner and somehow brainwashed him in a hotel room. The government doesn't know this, though. They haven't put two and two together. You see, Jared Lee Loughner had written in his Facebook account and all over the internet that he was supported this guy that wrote a book about grammar. Nobody knows who this guy is. Is he David Lee Miller? He wrote a book about grammar, and I believe that this guy, David Wayne Miller, I'm sorry, he actually is working for some sort of a secret organization, and I think he is some part of the brain control that Jared Lee Loughner incurred. Anyway, the government is not pursuing this lead. They are hiring an attorney, the public defender who's working for free, Judy Clark, who is going to defend Jared Lee Loughner. And by the way, Jared Lee Loughner has decided he's innocent. He's not guilty. And she's going to defend him and make sure he doesn't get the death penalty. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm in favor of executing Jared Lee Loughner. I would like to see the guy fry, personally, because he killed 6 people, beautiful people, a little child, a federal prosecutor, nearly killed Gabriella Giffords, and it's just sad and pathetic that our society is giving him multi-million-dollar defense, and she's giving her free time, Judy Clark is, to defend him. She's the lady that got Susan Smith off, the lady that killed her babies, drowned them all in the car, left the car and pushed the car into a hole with all their kids in there. She got her off the death penalty. All right. You don't even know who Jared Lee Loughner is? You didn't hear about the Flagstaff... do you get the news in Britain? My goodness. He was a guy who, basically, there was a U.S. Congresswoman here in New Mexico, and she was trying to have like a meet the candidate on the corner, or congressman on the corner, and he shot her and other people. 6 people died. And by the way, anonymous hacktivist, I do think that the war on drugs is a failure, and we need to save the $60 billion that we currently spend on it. I can see spending some money on interdiction of the ingredients that go into methamphetamines, for instance. I don't see the reason why we're allowing drugs to be shipped into this country, like pseudoephedrine, that could get into the hands of meth heads. I think we could do something there. I think we could do something with the Afghanistan poppy that's growing. At our request, actually, our government is protecting the poppy growers and warlords of Afghanistan. There's something very weird about that. And I believe that the CIA is somehow making money on shipments or the sale or conveyance of drugs throughout Afghanistan. I don't trust the whole thing. I think it's rotten to the core, and I think our country is corrupt as hell. And I think there's something very wrong. And if you don't believe as I do, that's okay. You may believe that we do need to take action to get back to honesty in government, and that's what I really stand for. I'm not going to be able to stop the CIA. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to be able to curb their control over illegal drug operations. It's not in my ability as your president. But I will be able to create a better environment for them to have a healthy organization and do their job as the Central Intelligence agents that we expect them to do. We can make them more accountable in some ways, but what their secret cover operations are going on, that's not my purview. In fact, the Justice Department and the presidency are separate on that note. I agree. All right, what do you, WTF asks, do you think we need to focus on, oh, by the way, Repub is taking a vacation, don't move anything. Do not move anything. Repub is taking a vacation until the 26th. Do you think we need to focus on solar panel and try to use this free energy in everything using energy power? Yes. 7 minutes ago, WTF said, would you think we should use solar panels? And yes, 7 minutes ago, I agree. we should have lower cost solar panels, and WTF, I recommend a brand new technology, nanotechnology wafer solar panels, which implemented in America could reap tremendous rewards. We all could have solar panels on our rooftops, and it could be affordable. We don't even have to pay for it. The government could pay for the infrastructure, and then over time, our electric bill would pay it back. Doesn't that make sense? It's kind of like a time payment. And in the process, too, we'll have less electric bills. So it saves us energy on our electric bill because it's less costly. We're not deriving energy from fossil fuel, and we'll be paying the government back over time. And people can get a job putting them in, installing them.
Okay, next. Why do you think does the Order of the Garter control China? If not, why not?
Well, I don't know anything about the 9/11, the Order of the Garter, except to say that they are a secret private club in England, and they have roots with the Hong Kong drug trade. That's the best way to put it.
Speaking of which,
dating back to the Golden Triangle.
David, what would you do if the CIA captured a big-time arms dealer that saves the U.S. money, like in Lords of War? I don't remember seeing that movie, but basically in Lords of War, I believe it was Nicolas Cage who traded guns, arms. Anyway, what would you do?
Well, I mean, I don't have anything against the CIA, personally. don't have this deep desire to go after these people. I do want to know more about what they're doing, but I don't think they're going to let me know, even if I'm president. And that's pretty much the same Iron Curtain that John F. Kennedy faced. There was a time when John F. Kennedy got on the phone with the FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover, and asked him about plans and plots to attack Fidel Castro and this operation that they had been conducting, the Monarch operation, which was designed to assassinate world leaders. And there's actually a video of this conversation where JFK is asking him these questions, and J. Edgar Hoover was very, very hesitant to answer any of them. And what happened essentially was, or there's a possibility that this secret Monarch project that the CIA and the FBI were running may have been used against JFK.
Interesting.
There's a possibility it may have been used against Martin Luther King or Robert F. Kennedy.
David, would you give refuge to the bin Laden family because you said Osama was not killed? Actually, David's correction said Osama was killed.
Was killed. Yeah.
But he doesn't believe. He believes that he was killed much earlier than the time reported in the news.
Right. I mean, because there's no actual videotape of Osama bin Laden from 2001 to present time. The ones that have appeared have been debunked, and the imposter that they had photos of in Abbottabad, that actually is not Osama bin Laden. So I believe that this has been a hoax. It's perpetrated on the United States people in order to bolster Barack Obama's ratings, making him a military commander of some sort, accomplishing his goal of getting Osama bin Laden. I think it's the most pathetic attempt to get reelected I've ever seen in my life. And I think the American people, many of them, have fallen for it. You see, they never produced a picture of Osama bin Laden after they supposedly killed him. They never produced a picture of the body being thrown out of the Carl Vinson out in the North Arabian Sea. And they never produced solid DNA evidence chains to the body of Osama bin Laden. The family, bin Laden's family, have sued Barack Obama. They want evidence that their grandfather or father is dead. And Obama is stonewalling that lawsuit. And I can't tell you if Osama bin Laden is dead either, except by virtue of the fact that it was common knowledge in the military that Osama bin Laden was killed in Tora Bora in 2001.
True, and some of the people say, not all bin Laden's family was involved in what happened on 9/11.
No, none of those people were involved. In fact, there's no evidence that Osama bin Laden was involved in that attack on our trade centers. There's no actual solid evidence. The videotape that you saw right after the attack on the trade center was an improper interpretation of the Osama bin Laden speech that he made on camera, and that was Osama bin Laden, and he never took credit for the attack